Welcome to the True Love Secrets Revealed Telesummit. Today we are having with us the most brilliant PJ. PJ is an international speaker and resilience expert, teaching people to embrace and live the resilient way. He has delivered more than 4,000 presentations in his lifetime and is considered one of the world's leading authorities on resilience and overcoming obstacles. PJ has been seen by and or worked with people in more than 35 countries. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of countries. Despite his disability, which was expected to take his life by age 7, he chose to live and live well indeed. He is a former wheelchair athlete, international traveler, founder of 2 nonprofit organizations and 4 disabled sports programs, a published author, watercolorist, and acrylic painter, 10th degree black belt, martial arts, and women's self-defense instructor, and a meditation teacher, between many, many other things. What an extraordinary human being. What an honor to have you here, PJ. Thank you so much. Welcome.
Thank you. It's my honor to be here and in your presence. And anybody who doesn't know, Natalia, you are in for a treat. She is kind and courageous and wise and insightful. And if you aren't where you want to be, she can get you there.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. So let's start. Let's just dive in if you are okay with that.
Absolutely.
What are some of the most damaging habits, beliefs, or thoughts women can have when it comes to dating?
There are 2 ways we can look at this. We can look at this from a general perspective, or we can look at this from a specific perspective. So let's start general. If you're doing something on a date, or you're doing something before a date, or you're doing something when you don't have a date and you're uncomfortable and you don't like it, stop. That's not good. Whether it's a thought, a habit, a behavior, something that you're saying to yourself, a feeling that you're having, find a way to let that go and shift into a different state. So let's be specific. What am I talking about? If you are the kind of person who feels like there are no good men out there, you have to stop telling yourself there are no more good men out there. You definitely have to stop telling your girlfriends that there are no more good men out there, because there are a lot of good men. The question is, why are you attracting the ones that aren't good? So you might want to raise your standards and say, hey, hold on, this is the kind of person that I am. So these are the kinds of people that I want in my life, and raise your standards to have those kinds of people in your life. Another thing that women tend to do is you're sitting there at the dinner table and you almost can't even help this, right? You're out on your first, second, maybe for third or fourth or fifth date, and things are going okay. Maybe they're going well, right? But if they're going okay, anywhere from okay to well, part of your mind starts going, is he husband material? Could I see having children with him? I don't know if I really, even if you don't know if you want to have children, your brain might pass through this process, because it's identifying whether or not this person is a prospective mate. Remember, you get to think your thoughts. Don't let your thoughts think you. Because when these kinds of things start to happen, your brain will think these crazy thoughts and it'll change your emotional state. So the other thing is, another thing that women do on a regular basis is there's so much personal judgment. I don't look good enough. I don't feel good enough. I'm not like, I'm afraid he's not going to like me. You're too worried about whether or not he's going to like you, instead of, do I like me? That's where you should really start, is, do I feel comfortable? Do I feel confident? What kind of date do I want to have tonight? Do I want it to be intimate conversation? Do I want it to be deep conversation? Do I want it to be funny and playful? Do I want it to be physically active? Because as the lady, we just want to serve you. We just want you to be happy. And so if you say, hey, I'd love to do this, or this meal was amazing, let's go and do something different, right? But be specific. So it's okay for you to honestly say what you really want. Don't say, oh, okay, whatever, be honest, because the more open and honest you are right from the jump, right from the very beginning, the more we can satisfy those requests and needs, the more we start to see the real true you instead of the you that you're putting on trying to impress us. Because we just want the same thing that you want. Somebody who's real, somebody who connects with us at that deeper level. And you want the same thing. So when you open up to that, instead of allowing your brain to think, who do I have to be to impress this person? No. When you start thinking, who am I? How do I want to show up? What kind of person am I in this world? When you start to change and shift and transform into this kind of person, then all of a sudden everything becomes easier.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So what I hear is that it's not about the doing, it's more about the being and choosing who we want to be. And
Yeah. Because then when you show up in your beingness, then I get the fullness of who you are, or your date gets the fullness of who you are. And that's delicious. Because when they get the fullness of who they are, who you are, then all of a sudden they go, oh, this person's amazing. Like, I want to up level myself. I want to be a better man. Now you've instantly encouraged him to show up at his best self. Okay. Not that we're putting airs on, but that we're saying, oh, actually, this is the fullness of who I am. It's a little bit like we hear a lot of people talking about kings and queens nowadays. So when you step in there with your full beingness, you're basically putting on your crown and saying, this is who I really am. This is my real value that I bring.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. BJ, I know you're writing a book right now about resiliency. And so what is resiliency and how it applies to dating and relationships?
So I like to break resilience into three parts. The basic gist of it is resilience is, if you look it up in the dictionary, it means to bounce back, right? So if I get knocked down, I get back up. If I get my heart broken, I get back on that horse and I go out on another date, right? And so that's true. All of that's right? Resilience in the basic terms is just not stopping, not quitting. So I like to say that resilience is continuing to move towards your goal despite adversity. That's the first part. Continuing to move towards your goal despite any kind of adversity, despite the tears that you might have had before you went out on the date, or the tears you had over the last date, or the fear or the worry that you have on this upcoming date, right? Despite any adversity, still moving forward towards whatever that goal or that commitment or that promise is. Second piece is while maintaining a particular emotional state, because you can go out on a date and say, well, I just got my heart broken. I'm going to go out on a date, but I'm not going to be happy about it. And I've got this negative attitude that all men suck. That's terrible, right? So why would you want that? That's not real resilience. That's like, I'm just going to do it because, well, I said I was going to do it. Well, that's great that you're following through on your commitment. But if you're not really there, are you really resilient? You're actually resistant. And you don't really want to be resistant. You want to be resilient. You want to push through despite the adversity, despite the sadness, despite the hurt. You want to say, no, this is what I really want. I'm moving towards what I'm really committed to. The third piece is while maintaining a position of power. Okay. So continuing to push towards your goal despite adversity while maintaining a particular emotional state that feels good to you and a particular and a position of power. What do I mean by a position of power? Meaning you want to come to your full authority. You want to come to your full beingness. You want to come from a place where you're moving from that center of your body, whether it's below your belly button, above your belly button, your heart area, or this whole energy field around your body. When you move forward from the space, your mind is still. And when your mind is still, you're present. And when you're present, you're able to connect. You don't connect with your mind. Now, you might connect with your mind a little when you're both really excited about a particular topic, but really the connection is in the heart. And so when you get out of your head and you settle into your beingness, into your body and all of what that makes that, or what makes that up, which includes the non-physical energy, that sort of bioenergy that people call an aura sometimes, or luminescence around you, you move with that power, you turn heads. When you turn heads, when you move into a room in that fullness of your power, there's a grace, there's an elegance, there's an authority, there's a power, there's a queen, who's entering that room, who's entering that date, who's showing up for that date or being picked up for that date. And then all of a sudden, everyone else treats you differently. Never give up your position of power. When you are struggling, always come back to your power and say, nope, that's what I want. That's where I'm going. I can make it there, and choose the mood and the attitude that you would like to have as you move towards that goal.
Right. Oh,
Is that
how
okay?
what's that?
Is that
That's
okay?
yes,
Okay?
it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It just it reminded me. I went, in my head, we go to places, and in my head I went to, and there is no age for that. There is no age for that. I watched a movie the other day with Meryl Streep, and she must be, I don't know, in her 60s now.
Meryl Streep is probably in her 80s.
You think so?
Oh, I do. Yeah, at least in her 70s.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And
I could be wrong.
either way, she's over 50 for sure. And when most women believe they become invisible, I have heard that so many times, that once you are over 50, you become invisible to men. And that's not the kind of ladies I work with. I work with a much younger age group. But anyway, maybe some viewers are around that age. And I'm watching that movie, and she shows up on set, and it's like she is a queen. She is a queen. Oh my goodness. What a powerful woman. It was incredible.
Now stop for a sec and tell people what makes her powerful.
It was
Why, in your
attitude.
observation, is she powerful?
It was just her attitude. The way there was a way she was carrying herself, that she wasn't even talking, but just the way she was moving her body. It was that. It was her. It was that je ne sais quoi. That.
You say, wow, right? Yeah.
That thing that I believe men love about us.
Yeah.
That I believe
and
that
actually women love that about men too.
right. Yeah. Okay. Tell me more about that.
It's that. Forgive me, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just get excited.
No, my goodness, this is your time to shine. I just talk too much.
No. This is our time. This is our conversation. It's about the presence, right? She shows up with that presence. She's not in her head.
Right.
She's not wrapped up in the mental maze. She's not wondering what she should say or how does she look, or worried about whether or not somebody likes her. She's connected with her beingness. She's connected with her heart. She's connected with her body. She's connected with her sensuality. She's connecting with her deeper power, the authority, that authenticity. And when she's in that state, or any man is in that state, right? They don't squirm and wiggle. Like you see me squirm and wiggle because of my disability. They don't squirm and wiggle. Their motions are intentional.
Right.
Walk intentionally. They're present. They're not distracted. They're aware, but they're not distracted. Right. There's a presence about them. And that presence is settling out of the mind. And I don't mean settling like, oh, I guess I'm just going to settle for being emotional versus intellectual. No, I mean like stirring up a cup full of water and sand, and it spins and spins and spins. And then as you take that spin out, all of a sudden, when the water starts to calm down, when your mind starts to calm down, the sand settles. And so it's the same with your attention. When your attention settles out of your mind and down into your body, into your heart area, into your abdominal area, and around your body, feeling the energy around your body, when you're in that presence, all the sand is settled inside of that glass. There's not the chaos or the whirlwind inside of your mind. There's just the presence. And when you move with this presence, it's grace, it's elegance, right. It's powerful, it's queenhood, it's kings, it's generosity, it's real class. If you ever think about somebody who's classy, why are they classy? Because they're present, because they have enough to share with others, not because they're worried about how little they have or worried about whether or not somebody likes them. They have enough to like others. They don't need other people to necessarily like them.
Love what you just said. That's a big topic. I love that topic. I talk about that with my clients. I do, because sometimes they have the tendency to feel that they need to get the Louboutin shoes, the one with the red sole. I don't know if you know which ones.
Yeah, I love those. Those are sexy.
They're sexy, they're great. And I
Yeah.
said, you can, of course, you can get them. It's perfectly fine to get them if you can afford them, go ahead. But there is no need to every picture you take to be showing the soul. That is the
Oh, sorry. Let me interrupt. Forgive me, everybody who's watching. Listen to what she just said. There's no need to sell this to show the soul in every picture. She means the SOLE of the bottom of the shoe, which you all got.
yes,
But there is a need to show your soul,
right.
SOUL. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just was so exciting because I talk about soul integrity, and it was just a delicious like wordplay. So go ahead, please forgive me.
So piggybacking with that, with the soul, like in SOUL, integrity. Is that something that you will advise to these ladies to do on the first date, or something that as they start to know the men and they start to open up more, what would be your approach on that?
Every moment of every day, you
Yeah,
have to be living with soul integrity. If you're by yourself in your home and you're walking to the kitchen, if you're walking in to take a bath, if you're taking a bath, if you're reading a book before you go to sleep at night, if you're
right.
getting dressed and deciding
Mhm.
what to wear, if you're walking out to the mailbox, we always want to be in that soul integrity.
Mm,
Anytime that we're wrapped up in the mental maze and the worry and the ruminating and the concern of what our mind might be thinking, if our mind is ruminating, we're not in that soul integrity. You and I
right.
talked about this the other day. We talked about authenticity. And I said that authenticity is the noun. It's who you really are in your deepest of beingness, right? It's that soul authenticity. And then when you move with that, when you take any kind of action from that space, it's soul integrity. Integrity is the verb. Integrity is that authenticity in motion. Integrity is that authenticity in connection. Integrity is that that authenticity in interaction.
Mm,
And so always, and again, please forgive me. I didn't mean to step on your. I always joke and say step on your tongue when you're talking about they don't need to show the soul of the shoe all the time in every picture, and yet it's led us here
yes,
to a place that's much deeper. And so
right.
last night I get a call from a friend / client, right? And she said, I'm about to go on this date and I've really expressed, how I feel about this particular person, but this particular person they're not reciprocating the way that I want them to. And they said that they don't know that they can be in my life in this particular way. And I'm just feeling really like I'm really sad, I'm really brokenhearted. And she's like, I just need some advice. And I said, well, you told me that you want to go out on a date and you want it to be fun. And she said, I do. I want it to be fun. I said, well, there are several ways that you can have fun, right? You can go and I'm trying to remember exactly what I said to her. Well, let me just advance the scene a little. I said, you're feeling love for her, but you're having heartbreak. That's not real love. That's infatuation. Because whenever you feel real love, I was talking to her. I said, whenever you feel real love, and this is a classy, elegant, higher standard, whenever you feel real love, love never wants to stay in you. Love always wants to get out. And it's not like it wants to get away from you. It just wants to be shared. And so if you're in that state of real love for yourself, going back to the soul integrity, right? If you're in that state of real love, just in life, and you're feeling the presence with a capital P, that energy field around you and through you and around and through everything else, where you're like, I just feel connected to everything. When you move with that real love, love wants to come out of you. It's beautiful when people give love back to us, but real love doesn't need that. That's infatuation. That's romantic love uh, at a limitation. that's like, oh, this is what I want from the relationship. Instead of thinking about, oh, this is what I want from the relationship, then there's all kinds of judgment about what you're not getting.
Right,
Instead, why don't you show up and say, how do I want to be in a relationship? How
right.
loving do I want to be? What kind of human do I want to be? What kind of partner do I want to be? How do I want to show up with that level of real, authentic love? Because love just flows into us and wants to be shared. It doesn't want to stay with you. If it stays with you, it starts to ferment and rot, and it doesn't taste good like kimchi, right? Right?
I love
It,
kimchi.
it, it turns into resentment.
I went through a kimchi phase. So how these ladies that have jobs and sometimes they are stressed at work because they have responsibilities and they have a life besides the romantic relationships. Dating is a part of their life, but it's not their whole life. It's
Sure.
not like they are at home all day,
Right.
taking baths and smelling flowers and chanting and meditating. These are women that actually they get up early, they go and they exercise, and then they take a shower, they go to work, then maybe they drive 20 minutes in heavy traffic where it's stressful, and then they go to work and they have to put down fires and reach goals, and it's a super what I call masculine world created by the masculine energy. And then how do they cultivate this soul integrity, or the other topic that we started talking before, resilience? I know they are different, but how can they, do you mind sharing maybe a skill that they can cultivate in order to kind of switch hats? And is that even a thing, switching
100%.
hats?
Absolutely, 100%. I'm going to say something that tends to confuse people a little bit, but I like it, and then I'll explain it. If it isn't clear, let me know. I always say that you can't serve two masters. Okay, now just put that on the shelf somewhere, and I'll come back to it. Resilience is born from commitment, and so whatever you're committed to, at the level that you're committed, the amount of resilience you need to get there will rise in you. But if you're not fully committed to something, this is the serving two masters. If you're not fully committed to something, then you want something here, but you also want something here. You're partially attentive here, but you're distracted over here. So what you're doing is your mind is trying to pay attention to two things at one time. So you're not fully committed. You're not actually having the potential to grow and expand the way you want to, whether it's in a relationship or whether it's in your career. So what you want to do is, with that soul integrity, there are two different things to look at here. One is, how am I showing up at work, right, professionally, or in any kind of relationship or dating scenario? Am I fully committed when I'm at work? Am I really listening to my clients, my colleagues, my staff, my boss? Am I really thinking about the vision and the mission? Am I really making an effort to be fully committed here? And if I am, fantastic, 2 thumbs up. Or am I partially committed here, but I'm really actually kind of sad because I'm feeling lonely? And the sad and loneliness is a distraction. And I'm giving this like 90%, which is good, right? None of us give 100%, 100% of the time. But am I giving enough here that I feel fully committed, or am I giving partial here, but I'm distracted by the sadness and the loneliness, or the broken heart, or the disappointment, or the frustration, or the belief, maybe it's not false, right, in your mind, that all men are terrible, right? When all men aren't terrible. Okay. Just maybe the ones you've allowed in your life maybe have been less than ideal. And so what we want to do is, when you're over here in the dating area, whether you're in a relationship or wanting to be in a relationship, you want to be fully committed here. You don't want to be distracted and be thinking about work, right? So for example, and I can give more specific examples if I need to. For example, in the morning, I have a personal care assistant because of my physical disability, who comes and helps me get, showered and dressed and food and basically these three things. Okay. And some mornings I'll say, hey, forgive me, I'm a little quiet today. My mind is already at work. So in that particular case, I'm not fully committed to this relationship, whether it's a professional relationship or whether it's a friendship, somebody helping me, right? Or professional, yet somebody that's becoming a friend, right? I'm not fully committed here because where am I? I'm thinking about over here. And so if this is what you're doing with your relationships, if you're not 100% in, they're not going to be 100% in. Because if you and I are dating and you feel like I'm not fully committed, your natural instinct is to retract and pull back. So let's say I feel like I'm mostly in, but I'm not fully in, like say 90%, and you're like, he just doesn't feel like you're talking to your girlfriends, he just doesn't feel like he's fully committed. Well, girlfriend, you need to be careful. You're going to pull back to 85%. I'm going to feel you retract. I'm going to pull back to 78%. You're going to feel me retract. You're going to pull back to 70%. And pretty soon we're scrapping. Why? Because neither of us showed up 100%. This is fully committed, not serving two masters. Be where you are. Be present in your beingness where you are. If you have to do some kind of ritual or ceremony or practice that transitions you from my morning drive into the work mindset, and then from my work mindset and then the drive home into my evening or my weekend mindset, do it. Create a ritual or a practice or a behavior that allows you to make that transformation. Okay. I always say this: change is inevitable. Transformation is a choice. So the question is, are you going to let the circumstances of life change you, or the circumstances of life change the trajectory of your life? Or are you going to look at everything and say, oh, that's what I want. I'm fully committed to that right now in this moment. And you're going to transform who you were a moment ago into who you want to be right now. Become.
Right. Well, how beautiful. And I have to, I feel inspired to tell you that you are really walking your talk. It's like that message cannot come from a better person.
Thank you. I'm honored by that. Thank you.
It's really, really the truth. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you so much. And yeah, and I can relate so much. I mean, this morning, without going too far, we have a new dog. We are taking her for a walk. And I am totally thinking on this telesummit. It's consuming my life right now. And I noticed I was completely shut down. I was just thinking about it, thinking. So I said, what can I do? I cannot stop thinking. So I decided to share with him. And I said, I feel so excited that this expert, this woman answered me, and she's such a big fish, and I can't believe she's going to be part of the telesummit. And so, and he started asking me questions. So, it wasn't about talking about, I don't know, romantic stuff, but at least, I let him in what is really important right now. This is it right now for me. It's very, very important. And I am using all my time. I cleared up my whole calendar for this. So, yeah.
And how did he respond? And how do you feel after you were able to articulate that?
Oh, he responds, he's very interested and very happy to be part of it. And just, he's super supportive. I definitely, I don't know how I feel about saying I couldn't do this without him, because on one hand, I know myself and I know I'll do it anyway.
Yeah. Yes, you would.
So it feels, but it's true. He's making it, maybe saying he's making it so much easier.
Nice.
So much easier.
And listen, let's talk about that for a minute so the ladies can be inspired by your relationship.
Okay.
He's making it so much easier because of the commitment and the connection that the two of you have. Yeah. Because you didn't try to be someone different when you met him, because you come with a certain amount of power and authority and confidence and personal security, self-esteem. And you don't try to play yourself down and be less than. You're like, hey, here I am. I'm the fullness of my being, my full power. And he is able to stand in that presence with you. You dated, if it's okay, you told me you went on 200 dates
Yes.
in 2 years
Weird.
before you met him.
Right.
And all of those, you probably showed up in your power. You probably raised your standards, right? Or didn't necessarily raise your standards because your standards are already so high, but you kept that level of authority, that level of confidence, that level of commitment. And even though there might have been some sad moments, you passed through the sad moments and you came right back, resilience, you bounced back to you know you truly are, that woman of power and authority. And you found somebody who can honor and respect and support that, not somebody who is less than and didn't show up as much, but somebody who is like, hey, I like who you really are. I'd like to be in your life because I like who you really are, not who you're pretending to be, who you really are. I keep saying that because I really want the ladies who are listening to
Yeah.
be authentically true to who you really are at your
Absolutely.
highest level, not at your, hey, you got to accept me for how I am. Could you be better? Because we can all be better. If you're low, if your standards are low for yourself, you're not holding your standards high for yourself, then why in the world would anybody hold their standards high for you? You got to start with you, right? And that's one of the things I love and respect so much about you, is you're like, this is who I am. And in my fullness, in my weaknesses, my sadnesses, and when I'm heartbroken, but also my courage and my strength and my confidence.
Thank you. Thank you. It has been a journey for sure, but you know, yes, thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, he is amazing. He's amazing. And I truly believe that I try to instill that in my clients, the fact that they have to be authentic. They have, that's the only way to find true love, is when we are authentic, when we stop pretending, when we say, oh, it's okay, or putting a facade. That doesn't work. My husband, when I met him, he saw me as I was. I mean, like literally, and he never judged me. Now, he guided me a little bit, like, I'll do some things like I am a runner, and one time I am racing, and this guy is trying to pass me. And I got really upset because he was trying to pass me when we were almost at the finishing line. And I didn't think that was fair. So I ran really, really hard and I passed him, and he finished, he collapsed on the floor, and I go there and I said, I beat you. I didn't even think I will never do that to a woman, but a guy I would. So, and my husband comes from behind and gets me, and he said, no, Natalia, we don't do that. We don't do that. That's bad sportsmanship. And I'm like, but he was trying to beat me. So that's the way, he kind of guided me a little bit, but not in a way that he judged me or nothing, and I could have kept doing the same thing. He was going to love me anyway, because he's so secure on himself and he knows so much who he is and what he wants, and he knew so much that he wanted me, that created an amazing terrain for me to finish up some healing I needed to do, and feel completely accepted. And there is nothing like that. There is nothing compares to that. There is nothing, no.
Again, I think that even though you said, in essence, he held the space for you to continue to do some healing. And even though you say that there are some moments when he guided you, as women, there are moments when you guide us. And masculinity and femininity are complements of each other, not opposites. Complements. Opposites push away from each other. Complements are drawn together. And had you not been as internally confident as you are, or as motivated and driven as you are, he might not have been interested in you, because he was already at a level and he was looking for someone to meet his level also.
Oh,
And this, I think, again, this goes back to your ladies that are watching. We really want to make sure that you're raising your standard. And you're not just saying,
Right.
oh, you have to love me and accept me for who I am. Are you at your best? Because
Right.
if you're not making an effort to be at your best, then
Right.
they don't have to be at their best. And that's not acceptable in my heart, in my world, for women to not have the best. Women should always have the best, but they also have to be the best to get the best. And as men, we have to be the best to get the best. We don't have to be the best in the room. We have to be the best of ourselves.
Right. Oh, that's so beautiful. That is, we could talk about that forever. I mean, there is so much wisdom in what you said. It's so important. So important to, you know this. I mean, that there are so many women that think that they have to, their life has to look perfect. They have to have the perfect job, or they are like, oh, I'm still in school. How somebody's going to love me and want to marry me if I'm still in college, whatever. And I said, it doesn't matter. Those things don't matter. To a man, those things don't matter. What matter, or even to a woman, how many women have supported guys through medical school or what, it's both ways. It's not really where we are at this moment in the material world. It's like you said, it's who we are. It's who we are. And only another high quality person will be able to see that and value that. So that's
Let's add to that just a little. Let's
yes,
clarify it. When
yes,
you say, I want everybody to hear this. When Natalia says it's who you are, what Natalia means is it's who you are at your deepest level of authenticity and
right,
truth. It's not who you are in your lazy day and curlers and crying and breaking down because you just are feeling bad about yourself in that particular day. That's not who you are. That's what moment you're experiencing. That's a moment you're experiencing. Who you are when that moment washes away and all the other moments wash away and everything, all the distractions go away. Who are you at your core? And how do you want to live with that integrity, that soul integrity, moving forward in the world, interacting and connecting with people? How do you want to move through your world? Who are you that wants to be expressed authentically and fully and completely? Your moments don't make up who you are, whether they're sad or excited, whether you're graduating somewhere or you're broken down on your hands and knees in
mm,
tears and prayer because you're just having a bad day. Those things are they're just aspects, they're just flavors, they're just colors and smells of the experience of your are-ness, your isness, your beingness that is going through that. When all of those wash away, who are you at your core?
mm,
You'll love that person. And you hear people say all the time, you need to learn to love yourself. This is how you love yourself. You simply let go of the distractions, learn, like, go a little deeper, maybe in meditation, maybe in journaling, maybe in prayer, maybe in running, maybe in art, whatever it is, maybe just sitting and drinking coffee or tea out on the back porch in the morning, listening to the birds and feeling the sun on your skin. When all of the distractions are washed away, at your core, who are you? How would you show up for others? How do you show up for yourself? Is there a tenderness? Is there a courage? Is there a curiosity? Is there an explorer? Is there an adventurer? Is there somebody that just likes to snuggle up with a good book and be stimulated in that particular way? What is your truth? When you
mm,
live from that space and you don't compromise that space, even though you're going to have up days and sad days on occasion, right? When you know who you are at your core, you're going to find somebody who will meet you at that space.
mm. How beautiful. How
Don't
beautiful.
compromise your integrity for anyone,
Right.
especially yourself, because you're sad and lonely and want to find somebody. Instead, become more connected to your confidence or your integrity, your authenticity. The more connected you are, the more committed you are to that, the better and healthier and happier your life will always be.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing all this. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. I could keep talking with you for hours, but I think we are good. We are good on time. So I know you have something very special for our viewers, a gift. Thank you for being so generous. Would you like to share what the ladies can get?
Sure. I wrote a 117-page ebook. What? I can't even get my own book done right now, but I wrote this book for you guys. And this book is called 5 Ways to Date Yourself and
Oh
One
my,
Reason Why You Should. 5 ways to date yourself and one big reason why you should. It breaks down the 5 different characteristics or parts of our life, and it encourages you to explore 3 dates on each of those. So 3 dates times 5 categories, 15 dates that you could go on for yourself. And listen, you don't have to follow my dates. You can modify them, mix them, and match them, or you can create your own.
I love it.
Though, that it gives you a chance to get to know who you are.
That is beautiful. I didn't know anything about your gift. And this is, I mean, you mentioned a little bit, but I didn't know it was going to be dating ourselves. I love it. I'm going to be the first, I'm going to be texting you. I am at the Bellagio at the gardens dating myself. That is beautiful. Love it. Thank you so much. You better ladies get it. So thank you for being here. And there is anything else you would like to share or say or anything before we are?
Yeah, let me let something come through. Okay. Rumi has a quote that's very similar to this. And actually, you have Rumi's quote on your Facebook page.
Love
But I can never remember Rumi's quote. So I came up with my own. And it is, seek not to love more, but instead to remove the obstacles separating you from love. Seek not to love more, but instead remove the obstacles separating you from love. And remember, I said that when you feel love, it doesn't want to stay in you because it just becomes toxic and resentful. If it stays in you, it wants to be let out. So instead of trying to be like, oh, I have to love more, that little guy in the wheelchair said I have to love more. You don't have to love more. You just want to let go of the things that are stopping you from love. Fear, worry, doubt,
Right.
okay, self-judgment, right? And then your truth will come out. And wow, when your feminine truth comes out, it is so refreshing to a good man. They just feel so fortunate and lucky to be in your presence.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, ladies, go out and let that yourself love naturally and truly.
And stop the recording. Upgrade to join the VIP exclusive package. Maximize the difference that this interview series can make in your love life. The VIP package includes 2 additional VIP only coaching and training sessions after this challenge to make the shift you want to make to create the loving relationship you want. That is an additional week of coaching and training. A private 20-minute coaching session with me to set real goals, remove your blocks, and get your questions answered. A free ticket to the Get Ready for Love Masterclass, a powerful live training session that will help you create your unique love vision and jumpstart you to create the love you want right away. On-demand access to the Library of Experts interview. These recordings will only be made available to VIPs. And emails from me updating you with all the links and dates for the VIP extra trainings, coaching calls, and resources. Amounts to a total value of $1,100. Today, you can access it for only $47. Click on the button that says Join VIP now for only $47. Looking forward to see you there.